Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Trevor Potts, the head football coach at Oxford High School. How are you, Trevor?
Doing great, Casey. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Let's talk about how the summer is going so far and what this week is looking like in terms of football with you guys because it's every team does well.
Yeah.
Most I know some teams do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
What's this week been like, and how was the overall summer?
Yeah, it's been a great summer. We really get it rolling in January, and so kids have been working hard now for several months. Even with Zach transitioning out and me transitioning in, kids have been in the weight room. Kids have been using our 15 days and 7-on-7s, and we kind of culminated last week going to team camp together up at Covenant Hills and had a lot of time to sit and eat meals together and be in cabins that were hot and not so comfortable, but just a lot of team bonding time. So we're looking forward to next week. We will kick it off on Monday morning. We bring the kids in for breakfast. We have team meetings and then two different practices throughout the day. And that's basically what our week looks like next week as we go through, and we finish Saturday night with a family night where we bring the whole community together. Our youth football come on out. We'll announce our captains and the 42 jersey that evening. So it's an important end of the first week for us.
Yeah, I know with of course Zach going to the Denver Broncos
Yeah,
to be part of that staff, and that was actually going to be my next question.
yeah,
The 42 tradition,
yeah,
of course, last year's seniors was the last class that graduated that was there on that tragic day in 2021. But of course, the 42 number will be continued in honor of Tate Myre, and just kind of explain why the tradition is continuing with this as you've taken over as the new head coach.
yeah. I was fortunate enough to be able to coach Tate myself. He's an unbelievable human being, and we want to be able to honor him in as many ways as we possibly can. Obviously, with the Mears family's blessing and continuing on that tradition, and to put it simply, that 42 is more. It more exemplifies great teammates, kids who do everything for their teammates, would do anything for their teammates, and supporting. And certainly, we've had a really good tradition of guys who have worn that number, from Tate to Brody to Luke, and looking forward to honoring another one of our student athletes this year again.
And of course, Brody and Luke are still playing college football. Brody, of
Yep.
course, Adrian,
Yep.
and then Luke, of course, starting at Wayne State this coming fall. So let's what the outlook for Oxford football this year after coming off a an OAA Red title
Yep.
last season, a very special year for Oxford in 2025 in the 2024 season for the 2025 class. But what is this year going to look like? Because you got to replace a lot of guys.
Yeah, I mean, the simple way to say it is there's a lot of new faces. I think when we're looking at returning starters, we have three returning starters offensively and defensively. So that leaves it 16 new faces on both sides of the ball who are filling in. But we've had to be great teachers over the last few months and reteaching scheme and how we do things and who we are and all of those things that are important to us. One of the important pieces for me to step into this role was to keep continuity between Zach's staff and this staff. So we're basically bring our whole staff back. We miss that Zach and him being a head coach, but we've all kind of stepped into new roles and new responsibilities. But Oxford football will continue to be Oxford football for our kids, and I'm excited for the kids that we have in the program and the kids that will step into those roles. So
Absolutely. All right. So let's talk about some of the kids that they'll be returning and some of the names to watch for Oxford this year.
yeah. I mean, the headline is usually the quarterback, right? So Jack's been a starter for 2 years, and really excited to have him back under the helm. He's taken a lot on in this program, and your first year as a starter, it's a lot of just learning the X's and O's, and and footwork and scheme, and now it's really about emphasizing Jack's strength as a passer and a runner, and letting him kind of have a hand in what are we going to run and what concepts do we like, and just trying to lean heavily into his skill set because he's a talented kid, and really excited to see not just how he helps us win games, but what he does in our locker room, and just having Jack around is a blessing. Having a third year starting quarterback coming in for year one for me.
Yeah. So, more what other names to watch on the offense?
Yeah, I think returner Liam Samborski will play offensive line for us. He's a I can't say enough good things about him as a human being and as a kid and a hard worker. He will be starting again, and he's just a junior. He's a tremendous athlete. He runs well. He does everything well. So he will anchor our offensive line, which should be young. I would expect us to start a lot of juniors up front, but we're bigger than we've been in the past. I think that will be one of our strengths this year. So really excited to see those young guys gel up front, and do what we do best from an Oxford football perspective, which is run the ball, and but also how they'll help Jack get the ball down the field as well.
Absolutely. What defensively, where are you guys at?
Yeah, AJ Krupa is a returning starter. He had some time at Mike last year, some time at Will last year. He was a big reason why we had success defensively last year. We've put a lot of pressure on our middle linebackers over the years to put us in the right positions, and so he kind of take on that responsibility for us this year. I've come from a background where, from an offense perspective, we would let our quarterbacks do a lot of checking at the line of scrimmage and get us in the best play possible. I don't see why that's any different from a defensive perspective. So he will learn a lot, and he will study a lot of tape with me, so he knows what we'd expect and what we want to be in. But he will get us in the right positions.
Absolutely. Um, and in terms of other names to watch, just offensive, defensively, and I know
Yeah.
they may not be starters, but some of the names that have impressed so far, and some names that people should be keeping an eye on when they come to Oxford, just for perspective, and it's
Yeah.
just for because there's a lot of new faces.
Yeah, and it's a long list, but Seth Tabert is returning again. He played a lot of safety for us last year. He will jump in and play running back as well. I'm excited for our running back crew this year. I don't think we're going to have a guy who's going to get 90 to 95% of the snaps like Luke did last year, but Seth. Colin Crosby has been at everything, done everything for us, and he will probably play some corner, maybe a little bit of nickel, and also play some running back. And so there's a few kids that are going to fill into those roles. Um, Again, a lot of offensive linemen, defensive linemen. I think we're going to bring up two or three sophomores as well. So just excited about a lot of guys who have a lot of learning to do still, but will kind of fulfill those spots and fill in those roles for us as we get through the next couple weeks of our team camp.
Absolutely. So so we've talked about some kids. Now let's talk about the upcoming schedule. Of course,
Yeah,
week one home against Heartland to start off the season. And then of course we go into week two, September 5th at Birmingham Groves, September 12th, home against Clarkston, September 19th at Rochester Adams, September 26th at Lake Orion, October 3rd, home against West Bloomfield, October 10th, home against Troy Athens. October 17th, home against North Farmington, and finishing out the regular season October 24th at Macomb, Dakota. So, of course, a pretty good schedule. And as we know, the OAA Red is the OAA Red. It's pretty tough, and you got to be that. And because I know, because you found a way to do it last year.
yeah.
What's it going to be like this year? And then, of course, starting off with a new opponent that you guys aren't familiar with Heartland.
Yeah, I mean that on top of a gauntlet of a 9 week schedule, we have to start the season with a very good program in Heartland. There'll be a new opponent for us, so a lot of learning to do, and so it really makes you focus on what you do offensively and defensively, and go into week one just executing your own stuff really well. They've had a lot of success in the past, but a new head coach, new defensive coordinator. So, there'll be some unfamiliarity on both sides, both squads. But we're fortunate enough to be able to open up a new stadium here, a new turf field on the 29th for us, and just excited to get in front of our home crowd. There's no better place to be on a Friday night than Oxford Stadium, Wildcat Stadium, and yeah, looking forward to that first challenge.
Absolutely. And then take me through the OAA Red. What's that
I,
going to be?
and it's easy to just jump into those guys, but Groves and Athens and getting to play Dakota, and it's just week in week out. We know you can't get better as a football team if you're not challenged week by week, and it's been our philosophy for a long time here. We're excited to play anybody and whoever any week, and being a Division I school, you have to play a gauntlet of a schedule to really get sharpened for what's hopefully going to be another long playoff run. But yeah, the OAA Red, yeah, Pickett, Clarkson, Lake Orion, Adams, West Bloomfield. Everybody's returning. Coaching staffs are top notch. Talent is top notch. We know we're up for that challenge, and we'll continue to work week by week to improve ourselves, and to meet some of those challenges.
All right. There is one more thing I want to ask you.
Yeah.
As going back to that first matchup in week one,
Yep.
um, two coaches that are at obviously, your first year head as a head coach. Obviously, Aaron's in his first year at Heartland, but has tons of it, and you both of you have tons of experience coaching. What's that going to be like as you try to plan for week one against an opponent you haven't seen, but also when you're trying to put film together at scrimmages? And I know that there's a lot of teams that just want to keep things to their chest before that first game. So how tough is it trying to plan for that opening game where you really don't know a lot about them?
Yeah, I mean, in the end, you have to get prepared to play a football game. I think, our philosophy for the next couple weeks is to really master the things that we're going to hang our hat on all season long. It adds a certain challenge where you don't know exactly where the other team's going to be from an X's and O's standpoint. You can follow Aaron back to Howell and seeing video of where they've been, but in the end, it's more about just us getting good at what we do and executing our stuff at a high level. And even in the scrimmage, we have to put our schemes on tape because I want to know if our kids can execute those things come Friday the 29th. So really, we won't be holding too much to the chest. We're going to have to, go out in our scrimmage and really see who we have with so many new starters, and again with a variety of schemes both offensively and defensively.
Absolutely. All right. Trevor, thank you so much for the time as always, and best of luck to you guys this season.
My pleasure, Casey. Thanks for talking.